Hello there everyone and welcome back. I still feel really bitter about that last match. For sure, it is a complicated type of fleet, at least I'm making it complicated for myself, but a few little subtle, simple things could have turned that around for me. The most notable one to point out would be if my dang drone had not got self-killed when I sent it in there to kind of kill off the crew of the Overlord. I could have kept it hidden and have it just babysit those two ships in case, for what we've seen there, the frigates decide to reactivate them, and it would have given my hive ship so much more time to just grab the objectives. Sure, it would have been a very slow process, but the objectives are actually bigger than the 4,500 unit radius of their detection range, so that one Grand Cruiser technically could not have spotted me there. I just would have to position it properly and hope. Well, even then, it was so crippled, and even the macro cannons probably couldn't even get through the shield, so there was fairly little risk of that. Among the myriad of other things, like not being able to get the boarding I would have liked at the very beginning of that battle against the frigate, due to being too slow with the scare pulse, and a lot of other stuff. But I don't want to come up with excuses for myself. I'm just saying it could have very easily turned around to be a victory. I would like to think at least. Okay, we're face off against Chaos. They're just as nice and easy to potentially kill off with as the Imperial Navy, although they're greater speed and they're encouraged to do long-range type of fighting, makes that a little bit tricky to pin them down, especially with the tentacles, I want to say. So I might have my work cut out for me on that regard alone, never mind the possibility of them having an easier time just dodging the torpedoes. But at the same time, it could also be a slaughter fleet, which is terrifying for me due to the sheer mobility. But I'm going to do one thing I kind of forgot about beforehand. I'm going to change my hotkeys here a little bit. Since I've been having issues with the burn retro, so I'm going to switch around. I got to remember where the hotkeys are for one. This is very... Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Huh, I'm looking for a tab key and there's burn retros. Where's the... There is cancel order. I'm going to change that to said, yes. Very interesting, I know, but I'm just giving you a little hint at my mindset here. I'm swapping those around since technically I'm using burn retros mostly to just hold my position a little bit. It might backfire a little bit, especially when I'm trying to turn, but I think this might make my life a little bit easier. It's just a trick of the muscle memory, trying to remember that little nuance. And I kind of got my hotkeys figured out at least, so there is that plus. It's just my starting deployment isn't the most convenient with that said. But otherwise, the drones are going to do what drones do, grab the 2 points on the side, make it easy, and does not tip off where my fleet is, essentially, is the idea there. And otherwise, I expect them to engage in the middle, goes through the middle here. So if possible, maybe have my Krakens try and flank a little bit. To make them turn around, do a 90-degree turn, maybe they think they might get an easy kill. Hard to say. And I did have an actual mirror match with a Tyranid the other time, between this recording and yesterday's recording, and oddly enough, their rushes were silent the same time my rushes were silent, so it's really annoying and really inconsistent. I just don't know if there's... It's definitely a glitch of some kind, I just don't know how to best take advantage of that. And this is possibly looking like a slaughter fleet, which means I'm going to have a hard time with mobility. Which means I gotta get a good jump on them with boarding and all that,
The
maybe.
enemy has seized a strategic
Ideally,
area.
launch my boarding parties as they come towards me. Since right now, as you heard, my rushes on these drones were kind of making noise. Which makes it a little bit difficult, so actually, let me just hold still. I'll worry about the third objective later, for now. I just don't want to get needlessly revealed, ideally. Although the hive ship can move forward some. And if possible, let's get some spore fields for protection's sake. I kind of am consciously trying not to deliberately fire this right away, since my opponent can see this projectile. It doesn't really make much of an audio cue, but it is something to note.
The enemy has seized a strategic
That I
area.
am going to have to be cautious of. That it could tip off where I'm going to be at, or at least where the flagship is. And I would like to avoid that, ideally. Okay, so spore fields deployed there. I would like to get another one available. Hell, I can use these. Kind of as decent deterrent. I just need to actively get on a certain objective, otherwise I am going to get overwhelmed just by the objective itself. But I got time to kill at the same time too. It's not like the points are going to cap quickly, it's just the fact they have cruisers that's what's giving them the advantage right now. And so far I only heard a single scanner pulse.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Oh, they have a Stig, so maybe this is not quite a slaughter fleet. Which I actually would be okay with. No, it's not a Stig, it's like a devastation, never mind. I would hate to have that die needlessly, but it is at the same time only a drone. I would like to just get the objective. Probably not going to happen.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now, drone, you go over there and start grabbing this point. Let's see. Let's get ready to do the damage necessary, because this is a lot of boring damage if I can make these connect. I did sadly lose my one ship, or one drone. Now, can I get the boarding damage? Nope. I don't quite get the boarding I would like, but I think that's good. We got a massive amount of boarding damage in already. And also, we have ourselves a flagship here. Can I say hi to it? That would be a nice, well, treat. I'm not quite doing the damage I want, but... Come on. It is running away, alas, but I could grab the objective quickly. I'm not quite marked, but that might change quickly. And I gotta be mindful of... Well, first off, actually getting my boarding back in. Get these hit in. They're not marked, so I could conceal this.
Seized a strategic area.
This is going to be a little bit of micromanagement, especially with a beacon on me. And I'm watching to see if this is going to explode or not. I was robbed before, and I don't like the idea of being robbed again. At least of the explosion. I don't want my ship exploding on me, ideally. I don't have the... I would love to board that ship there, ideally, but it's not going to happen. But thankfully, you're a little bit late on that explosion. You could have done it earlier, especially when my shields weren't charged up. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to get the boarding I would love to get, because these things are really damn slow. Hell, this thing goes... Well, it's lost its engines, actually, thanks to the boarding, so it might get a little bit, but... A little... Oh, I shouldn't have rushed. I shouldn't have used adrenal glands. That was a big mistake on my part there. Otherwise, let's see. Adrenal glands, keep boarding. And actually board the flagship with that said. I was kind of hoping to board it again, but I can still technically. It's just a really awkward angle for me. Actually, let's board this flagship, or this frigate rather, because that is without a doubt a pain in the ass, and that was bad timing for that.
You have accumulated
It turned way too fast to my liking.
points.
Now with that said, let's actually board, because this is looking really damn promising for me. That was bad fighters, but so long as they distract the point defense, that's all I care about, honestly. You seriously did not fire torpedoes. I thought I manually clicked that on purpose. But I guess not. Silly me for thinking that would work. Can I still board it? Burn retros? I'm sadly not going to happen here. And how are we looking on the flagship? That is all sorts of screwed right now. It's still a bit of a mess on my control. But let's see. J to recharge... I need to board that now. This match is already decided, in all honesty, so it's not a big deal, but... A little bit of complicated control, needless to say. But with the double rush, and the Krakens are a bit of a treat if you can get in there close enough. Because keep in mind, if I'm willing to risk them being sacrificed by double rushing, and they're close enough to initiate with their tentacles, as opposed to dashing there and then getting in range, they can chase almost anything for the 12 seconds that are required. So I've discovered it's going to be a little bit tricky to hunt frigates down, because in all honesty, 3 Krakens should be able to single-handedly kill a frigate if they can get enough boarding results in. It's, again, a trick of being able to spot them and actually get in range without without having to burn a scanner pulse, because I feel like that might be required. But nonetheless, I am figuring it out. I feel like I'm figuring it out. It's just, like I said, really complicated controls. Okay, orcs. If I don't get in front of them, I have a good time boarding potentially, but they have a lot of crew, and it's complemented by the fact that they have a lot of ships as well, which may not be a big issue if my opponent's going the battleship route. So, Space Marines, I want to argue, is possibly the most difficult to just bring a single ship down. Orcs are going to be the most difficult to probably take their entire fleet down because of the sheer numbers. And again, I gotta be mindful of mega cannons, which is what my opponent's probably going to use. So I should use Spore Fields kind of like as a fallback point to slow them down. Not really for stealth, just kind of to disengage, since all my ships go the same speed as theirs. It's just a big red button that might complicate things, especially with how close I might need to get outside my boring torpedoes, which I may have to consider doing long-range boring torpedoes to do a little bit of damage early on, which is not a terrible thing. It's just something I'm not used to, since I haven't really had to rely on regenerating charges just yet, aside for my Void Prowler in that last game. So it is something I'm aware of, especially since orcs can do decent boarding damage still. So it could be a threat to at least some of my smaller ships. Otherwise, I talked on long enough. I already know what I want for objectives, but I think my opponent's just going to boost on through, and it's not quite going to be possible to get the center objectives, so I should try and focus on getting the sides. Maybe even spread out, drastically spread out, with that said. Use my Void Prowler to kind of grab points maybe as well. Is what I might do? Yeah, I might actually do that here. I think it can capture this fast enough to be able to disengage, but realistically I don't expect me to be able to win in any close range engagement without some such subterfuge, I guess is the term I'm looking for. And they're silent this time, the rush, which maybe I can abuse that, maybe. But destroying engines with boring is always handy. My opponent's just going to have the convenience of repairing with them is the downside. So these look like they're all battleships, which makes my life a little bit easier, since, well, onslaughts are going to be a bit of a pain, but my Krakens are well equipped to at least deal with them. It's the mega cannons I'm going to have issues with. So how to best do this? In battleships, everything's boosting ahead. I kind of already knew they were mega cannons. I think what... And since there's so many frigates, kind of stealthing is a kind of an impossibility. Kind of an impossibility. So I should start laying down a bunch of these spore fields. How's the best way to even lay them down? Since I have such a spread out formation, it's going to be impossible to consistently get value out of them until the later portions where I have multiples of them down. That would be the exception. And I don't know if my opponent's hearing that, which is the one thing I'm terrified about doing this maneuver. And even then, they're battleships, keep in mind, so it's not helping me at all. But I can board all these and potentially kill the crew off multiples at once. And if they don't repair the fires, or if I can get the fires to stick, that can kill the onslaughts pretty quickly. This is going to be a rough game for me. It feels like it's going to be. since there's, again, a lot of moving pieces. And we got a brute over there. No, that's not a brute. I thought it was. And what was revealed? Nothing just yet, but that's gonna change quickly. And all these gas clouds actually help my opponents too pretty well. But one thing I can rest easy on, the entire crew will die if I get what I need to from these ships. Or what do I mean by that? If I get the full boarding charge on the ships. And I don't think there's any way I can get the torpedoes I want. But I am marked, so that's going to be a bit of an annoyance, but I kind of accepted that fate a tiny bit. Oh, and you have cold arms too. But a lot of fire assaults, because now you can't repair that. That should technically kill that ship, I think. And this is the first time I had to really consider the dang pyro assets being a burden. But let's see. I have to keep have a drone here as well. And I would love to rush these and kind of do some damage. I gotta manage this properly. And I could ram you to death. That's not a terrible idea right now.
You have seized a strategic area.
Can I do the damage necessary? I got a point here that don't help much. Before I could do anything, I need to kill the ships off. And I'm about to board you to death. I could have done more boring, but I think I'm okay so far. Now, I did not pay attention. Oh, they're turning around, so I gotta make this stick quickly. Sure, I'm marked, but I'm killing off their ships. I just gotta deal with the sap damage pretty well. And sadly, there are repairs, so that's gonna be a bit of an annoyance. And this is a little bit awkward, isn't it?
The enemy has seized a strategic
There, that helps some.
area.
And I am hitting for now. It has potential, but it's more likely for me to screw up than my opponent. It's the simple fact of the matter. Now, I already got their engines prioritized, so what do I want to kill most? The flagship, without a doubt. Krakens are a bit of a mess right now, but I'm just about in boarding range. Honestly, screw the flagship right now. I want to kill off the frigates most. Although I got way too close to my liking, alas, so that's going to be a bit of a pain.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now get everything out. I am going to lose a Kraken, but I'm in good position to kill off everything else. Again, I don't know if my opponent hears this, so this could be a big giveaway for me. So how about instead we screw over this battleship? I like this idea better.
You have accumulated 25%.
And I can rush really quick
strategic
too.
points.
Sadly, I am giving myself away some, but I can hide quickly. I could, but I'm not paying attention very well here either, alas. Again, this is more likely to screw me over than my opponent. But let's get my flagship in here. My Void Prowl is actually still alive, surprisingly. And I want to grab objectives, which I guess is what my flagship is going to try and do. Let's see. I don't see it just yet, but that's not a problem. I can rush that down. I can board that. I have no more boarding assault crafts. I didn't even realize that, alas. Keep boarding this thing, and ideally, get the hell out. I wish I had more bolt assault ships. I'm surprised I don't have more. Anyways, Void Prowler, you still have torpedoes there of good measure. I'm actually in the lead in points at the moment, but we're not out of the woods yet. Let me just neutralize this point. This will be a great start. I just don't need all my Krakens here. It's this thing I gotta keep in mind.
You have seized a strategic area.
I don't know why you're going that way. I don't like... Oh, I probably want you to board and kill off the ship there. That might be why. But this looks promising. I should not get distracted by their compliments. I do not want compliments. I'm fighting for my damn life here. Although I wish I had rushes available. The flagship is all but gone in crew, I assume. And sadly, I missed out an opportunity there. But I do have rush, I just gotta do the boring damage. Like I said, I'm likely to screw up here more than my opponent, sadly. Especially with the Mega Cannons now on me. Can I do the damage necessary? Hard to say, because my opponent could turn really quickly, although at the same time, they were nerfed a bit. What am I trying to say? The boarding, or the big red... The red ones go faster ability is what I'm trying to say. And sadly, you are really inconvenient as a light cruiser because you don't actually benefit from the stealth maneuver. Where's the flagship? Is it actually a drifting hulk right now? That would be kind of nice. That crew might die. I am scared out of my mind, I will be perfectly honest. I don't know how to do this properly. But your crew might all be dead. Actually, let's get this thing... Nah, I was gonna get that thing to safety. I am fumbling the control poorly. But I do have spurs. Actually, my shields are just gonna eat them, so I don't think I'm worried yet. I just gotta make sure I do the boarding damage necessary. Which is why I sent you over there. It just might cost you your life a little bit if I do this poorly. I just did not realize the score right now. All I have to do is just continue playing a slow game. Should I be flattered? I feel terrified. I was going in this with a negative mindset. But it paid off. I think I need a break after that. Although we didn't quite even break the half-hour mark, so I still have to get the nerve for one more match. Damn it. Alright. Is Drukhari going to be a little bit easier to deal with? Well, on the plus side, it's less ships I have to eat. Well, That's probably not true, considering there's only 4 battleships I had to go up against. It seemed like. As opposed to... yeah, here having 3. Well, we'll see what happens here. I hope you can forgive me for being really spent after that last match, good god. I don't think we can, in any way, kind of top that, even if this were somehow a victory. But it's exhilarating nonetheless. But either way, I think what I want to do is focus on these 3 objectives. Well, I hate to break it to you, I got tentacles. I'm just trying to comfort my poor Jukari slave master here. Although it's going to be tricky. How the hell am I going to get use out of the spore fields aside for concealing myself? Which can make my position really predictable if once my opponent spots me. But on the plus side, my rush is basically a better type of rate mode shift since I can travel the 4,000 units in 2 seconds as opposed to 4.5. And I have adrenal glands. Sadly, I think my Krakens are going to die quickly, with that said. Otherwise, I think that's my plan. Let's try and keep it simple, as tricky as it might be. I'm going to focus on grabbing... actually, you are part of Group 6, so I'm just going to put the Foy Prowl in there now. And I am going to have a bit of a hard time trying to... I almost wonder if I want to grab it with the cruisers. At least a little more security, but isolated at the same time. I don't know how I want to do this. And they're silent again, so that could mean anything. And I didn't even get a chance to prioritize components, but that's fine. I can take advantage of that when I actually spot them. And we have a battleship over on the right. I think that much is apparent. So the big question, where do I want to put spore fields that actually can help me with concealing my ships? Pretty much any on the objectives themselves might be nice. Although I probably could... well, if I can successfully stack multiples on them, that helps a bit. But I need to be ready to board the hell out of these things. And if possible, maybe hide my Krakens. A little unlikely. And realistically, I do not want to get spread at all either. Since those battleships can easily make things bad for me. Oh, and I gotta keep in mind, yeah, I changed my hotkeys as a demonstration of earlier. So they scanner pulse the middle objective. So I'm in no rush just yet.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Again, I have no idea if my opponent can hear these, so I don't want to rush carelessly into the middle of the map. But that's 2 scanner pulses. And they did 2 scanner pulses too, so let's keep that in mind.
You have seized a strategic area.
So the question is, if I did not pay attention to numbers just because of controlling my own fleet, how many frigates did they have? I couldn't tell you. I just... oh, well, thanks for that there. You gave me a bit of a tell, but gotta be ready for this. Since sure, they have 3 objectives, but that's not a big deal yet. I just gotta be ready to pounce them. Somehow. Since how much crew damage can I do with just 3 Krakens on a battleship? It's like 18 points, so it's not enough to get rid of like a third of their crew. Can we possibly kill this thing? That would be nice, although... Well, that's convenient. Now, we got one frigate here.
You have seized a strategic area.
Sadly, I'm not going to quite get the hits I want, but... I got boring torpedoes at least. Alright. And let's see, did I do this poorly? I probably did, but I get the boarding assaults in. So there is always that, I suppose. And screw the objective for now. Silly words to say, but screw the objective for now. Because we got an opportunity here to kill this thing.
The enemy has accumulated 25%.
Don't quite have the rush I want, but I can assault it in a moment here. Engines are gone. And you're flying sideways, that's pretty convenient for me. And it's also a flagship with that said too. Although, did it just shoot down all my fighters? I think it just did. There. That is permanent engine destruction. This thing is pretty much dead now. And it's actually braking quite well too. Just gotta be ready for the other ships. There, mutiny alas, but I'd rather it be gone entirely rather than having to deal with the inconvenience of them. Basically, what am I trying to say? I don't know. My opponent just lost control of their fleet. It's what it looks like. I'm doing a bad job controlling this. Like I said, I hope you can forgive me. It's probably a result of the dang last match. But let's see. And I gotta remember that dang boring torpedoes thing too. Or at least my hotkey change. So we got the objective here. I am marked alas, but that'll be short-lived.
You have seized a strategic
And you are
area.
basically bored to
You have
death.
accumulated 25%
Just about. Not quite, but close. I'm not going to quite get the boring torpedoes I want, but we got objectives, we got the flagship. And I'm doing, dang it, I don't want you ramming each other, which is why I dislike how twitchy this mechanic can be. And those were bad shots, were they? A little bit.
The enemy has accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Your crew is almost gone here. I'm gonna watch for that. Actually, I need to mark it now, with that said. So that way I could do this. Did I get my boring damage in? Don't think I did just yet. But let's get the foil prowler up to grabbing the objective, I suppose. At least it gets some use that way. And I gotta remember to keep firing these spore mines. Sure, I lose frigates, but I have 3 points. I'm at risk. I have good situation of grabbing another one. And my flagship can contribute a lot in grabbing that. Although this might not go as well as I want, but again, I'm gonna have to try and gamble on salt rushes a little bit. So I'm gonna use the Foy Prowler as a bit of a bait. Actually, we have a drone here that could be useful somewhat. And I should realistically be putting those on the objectives, since if my opponent tries to grab them, that helps some. Okay, so my opponent's going that way. Which is fine, I'm grabbing the objective up there. I'll be ready for this at some point. Some point in the future. And neutralizing this point will be pretty handy. I just gotta be able to capitalize on it. Which gives me a clear window there, I want to argue. Gonna be pretty awkward if my flagship gets jumped. It goes without saying. But I have rushes, and my ramming damage is absurd against Drukhari. It's the one time I actively want to ram and rush into that. Actually, I'm content with just concealing this. And then grabbing the point after.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Alright. Let's make this difficult for him. Since I have convenience of spotting as well. Oh, I did use my rush, or my adrenal glands, so maybe not a big deal yet. This is going to suck a little bit, but I can minimize the damage.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I wasn't fast enough on that grapple last, so that stinks. Well, that was convenient. Now, let's do this again, shall we? Ideally, finish this off in glorious manner. Gotta keep these ships alive, although they kind of are okay now. Did I just... I just rammed them. That was abysmal. But I think we're golden. You're just gonna melt to the shield, so that's convenient of you. We're gonna try and conceal ourselves, hide. And now I have the points lead there with 4 objectives. I don't know if that was a mistake on my part, or... See, I saw the highlight on the minimap. I don't know if my opponent... If that was a bug or my opponent messed up on the controls. And there is still frigate around, which is annoying, but... I know where it is, at least.
You have accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Sadly, I did not get the fire bays I want, but I did get the engine critical hit, which might be good. It only might be good if my opponent is... I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. I think I lost my ability to commentate. But I didn't get what I want there, sadly. Boring torpedoes aren't going to hit, but I do have the convenience of being concealed
The
here.
enemy has seized a strategic area.
And I still have 3 objectives, so I'm good here regardless. My opponent just has to guess where I'm at. And I got easy defensive window here for these 2 ships. And again, I should be dropping those on the objectives.
The
A bit of
enemy
an
has
oversight, but
accumulated 75%
more
of
high spots the
strategic
better.
points.
As simple as it needs to be. Nope, I know they're right there somewhere. I heard a rush or a boost. I just couldn't tell you where. So there's somewhere over on the right, maybe. Thankfully, I am prepared for that some. And that's low on crew count, so I think I'm okay. Very slow event, but it goes without saying, we're playing a very slow game of cat and mouse. And I gotta remember to hit tab twice, it's the main thing. I might be benefiting a little bit if my opponent actually can't hear the rush this time around. But
You are close to victory by strategic points.
and you are marked? Oh no, you're not. Can we do something scary? Probably not, because I'm refusing to use tentacles to the best of their ability here. And apparently I launched the boarding crafts on the one that was stealth and gave away my position. There, that had to hurt. There's a damn good use for the grab, the hook tentacle. I kind of saw that coming, but I kind of lost focus a little bit too. Alright, that's officially game. A lot of it, I wonder how lucky I was to get the flagship, alas. If I were to be serious. I think my opponent pretty much conceded to the fact that they're likely going to lose here. But can I get the boring damage in? That's all I care about at this point. Permanent engine critical hit, this is over. Bit of a long match, but it's still a victory. I guess I can't be too upset about it. And I didn't need to use my adrenal glands either. That was a bit of a mistake on my part. Oh, my opponent's trying to get a killing blow. That's what it was. I could have still lost that if I lost another cruiser. So it was still close and tense. I don't know if I should be excited or not, damn it. But still. Well, I should be flattered. Although, it could be a bit of a mismatch, it could be luck. Like I said again, I took out the flagship really damn early. And those stasis bombs and, was it that field? Dang it, what's that slow effect called? The dark matter cannon could have been very impactful if that was just the other battleship in general. So I feel like I got lucky.